It was a dark and stormy night when the small town of Silverwood was terrorized by a series of brutal attacks. People were found ripped apart, their bodies mangled beyond recognition. As fear gripped the town, whispers of a werewolf began to spread through the community. Kyle, a young and curious reporter for the local newspaper, became determined to uncover the truth behind the gruesome killings. He spent countless nights prowling the woods, hoping to catch a glimpse of the mysterious creature. One fateful evening, Kyle's persistence paid off. As he wandered through the dense forest, he stumbled upon a clearing where a horrifying sight unfolded before his eyes. A man, or what appeared to be a man, was hunched over, transforming into a massive wolf-like creature. Kyle's blood ran cold as he realized he had come face to face with the werewolf. Terrified but determined, Kyle raced back to town to warn the townspeople of the impending danger. But as he tried to rally support, he was met with skepticism and disbelief. No one wanted to entertain the idea of a werewolf lurking in their midst. Undeterred, Kyle continued his investigation, determined to stop the werewolf before it struck again. Months passed, and the town of Silverwood began to slowly return to normal. The attacks had ceased, and the people breathed a sigh of relief, believing the werewolf to be nothing more than a figment of their imagination. But one fateful night, as the full moon cast an eerie glow over the town, the terror returned with a vengeance. The werewolf struck once more, leaving a trail of carnage in its wake. Kyle, now haunted by the memories of his encounter with the creature, knew that he had to act before more lives were lost. He delved into the town's dark history and unearthed a chilling revelation. The werewolf was not a random curse, but a curse passed down through generations. And now it had chosen a new victim to carry on its deadly legacy. Armed with this knowledge, Kyle set out to break the curse once and for all, before the town of Silverwood was plunged into eternal darkness. But as the full moon loomed overhead, he knew that time was running out, and the werewolf's thirst for blood was stronger than ever. Kyle's investigation led him to a forgotten underground chamber deep in the heart of the forest. It was there he discovered the cursed origins of the werewolf. Legend had it that a vengeful witch had cast a spell on a man who had wronged her, cursing him to transform into a wolf under the full moon for all eternity. The curse was passed down through generations, inflicting untold suffering on the innocent. Determined to end the cycle of bloodshed, Kyle sought out the witch's ancient tome, hoping to find a way to break the curse once and for all. As he pored over the cryptic text, a sense of dread washed over him. For the answer he sought was not as simple as he had hoped. But time was of the essence, and with the next full moon approaching, Kyle knew he had to act quickly. Armed with newfound knowledge and a deep sense of purpose, he ventured into the heart of the forest, ready to confront the ancient evil that had plagued the town for centuries. As the moon rose high in the night sky, casting an eerie glow over the darkened forest, Kyle found himself face to face with the werewolf. The creature's eyes glowed with an unearthly light, and its feral snarl sent shivers down his spine. But he stood his ground, determined to put an end to the curse once and for all. The final confrontation loomed, and the fate of Silverwood hung in the balance as Kyle prepared to face the ancient evil that had plagued the town for generations. Kyle stood his ground, the ancient tome clutched tightly in his hands. The werewolf lunged at him with a ferocity that sent a chill down Kyle's spine. But he managed to evade the creature's deadly claws. With all his might, he continued reciting the incantation from the tome, each word a barrier against the curse that had tormented the town for centuries. The air crackled with intense energy, and Kyle could feel the weight of the ancient magic coursing through him. Suddenly, the werewolf let out a guttural howl, its form flickering and wavering as if fighting against an unseen force. It took several steps back, its eyes wide with a mixture of rage and fear, as the incantation reached its crescendo. The ancient tome in Kyle's hands began to glow with an otherworldly light, and a powerful surge of energy emanated from the pages. The werewolf let out one final anguished howl before it collapsed to the ground, its menacing form reverting back to that of a man. For a moment, silence enveloped the forest, broken only by the sounds of heavy breathing. Kyle approached the fallen figure cautiously, and as he looked down at the man, he recognized the familiar face of one of the town's most reclusive residents. The curse had finally been broken, but the mystery of the werewolf's origins had only begun. And as Kyle looked at the man lying on the forest floor, he knew that the town of Silverwood would never be the same again. The man on the forest floor opened his eyes, the remnants of the curse fading from his features. Confusion and fear flickered in his gaze as he struggled to comprehend what had transpired. Kyle extended a hand to help him up, but before he could utter a word, a chilling howl echoed through the woods, and the man's eyes widened with recognition and dread. "It's not over," he whispered, his voice heavy with resignation. "The curse may have been broken, but the darkness still lingers." Kyle's heart sank as the realization settled over him. The ancient evil that had haunted the town for generations was as resilient as ever, and the battle against the forces of darkness was far from finished. As the man's gaze met Kyle's, a silent understanding passed between them. A new chapter of their struggle against the curse had just begun. The man let out a heavy sigh, acknowledging the daunting task ahead. They both knew that breaking the curse was just the beginning, and that the dark forces they faced were far more formidable than they had anticipated. As they made their way back to town, a lingering sense of unease settled over Kyle. He couldn't shake the feeling that there were more secrets hidden within the town's history, and that the ancient evil they had encountered was merely a symptom of a deeper, more malevolent power. As the moon dipped below the horizon, casting the town in a shroud of darkness, Kyle felt a chill run down his spine. He knew that the battle against the darkness had just begun, and that the true extent of the town's horrors was yet to be revealed. As Kyle delved deeper into the town's history, he uncovered a series of cryptic records and ancient tomes that hinted at a darker, more malevolent force lurking beneath the curse of the werewolf. The curse, it seemed, was only a fragment of a larger, ancient evil that had been unleashed upon Silverwood centuries ago. With the enigmatic man by his side, Kyle embarked on a perilous journey to unearth the truth behind the town's hidden secrets. They ventured into forbidden, long-forgotten places, braving the whispers of malevolent spirits and the ominous echoes of the town's tortured past. As they progressed, they encountered foreboding symbols etched into the walls of forgotten catacombs and encountered ancient artifacts that hinted at a nefarious power far more sinister than they had ever imagined. They soon realized that the battle against evil would not be fought with conventional weapons, but with cunning, tenacity, and a deep understanding of the twisted forces that had plagued Silverwood for centuries. The final confrontation with the darkness was drawing near, and Kyle and the men stood ready to face the malevolent force that had ensnared the town for generations. As they approached an overgrown clearing, a palpable sense of dread hung heavy in the air. A hulking figure emerged from the shadows, its form cloaked in darkness and its eyes gleaming with an otherworldly malevolence. This was the ancient force they had been seeking, a creature of unfathomable darkness that had held the town in its sinister grip for centuries. The creature sneered, its voice a guttural, otherworldly growl that sent shivers down their spine. It taunted them with cryptic warnings and spoke of an unstoppable power. It wielded a power that had condemned the town to endless torment. Its presence was suffocating, an embodiment of dread that threatened to overwhelm them. In the heart of the forest, a battle between light and darkness unfolded. As Kyle and the men stood against the malevolent force that sought to consume the town, the air crackled with ancient magic as they prepared to confront the vile being that had tormented Silverwood for time immemorial.